Thank you, Nigel. First of all, Mr. Secretary General, it is a great pleasure to hear you speak at this event, and assembled guests. It is really fantastic to be here, I have to say. We've done so many projects over the years, but this one takes us to a new level. We're very pleased to be part of it. I'd like to begin, first of all, by thanking the many individuals, and in particular the founding partners of the Random Acts of Kindness, who we've now got the backstory on. Microsoft and Google, Yahoo, NASA, the World Bank. And in particular, I'd like to thank UN Global Pulse tonight, and Robert Patrick, for hosting tonight's event, and for enabling us to host weekend events. It is more than a pleasure. In fact, it's an honor to do so. And we do it not simply because it is an honor, but because it becomes a responsibility for a school of design. And that may seem a little bit odd at first, to wonder what it is that design does in this space. But I would present to you a vision of design that is not simply characterized by the way things look in the world, but how we think about it. And I would suggest to you that the world we live in is a designed world. Many of the challenges that we face have been produced by acts of design. They may not have been very good acts of design, and this is a bit of the good news, bad news story. The world that we live in is a world that has been produced by human activity. Now, not all of the disasters we face are human-made, but the very act of thinking about where we should live, where we produce human settlements, how we relate those to risk. These are human actions, human design decisions. And the good news in this story is that if we built the world that exists today, we can build it differently, because it's a design decision how we build it. And so a design school must be involved in a project like Random Acts of Kindness. And a design school like Parsons, in the middle of a city like New York, with the capacity across a range of design disciplines, is thrilled to be given the opportunity to do that. And we will rise to that occasion, I'm sure of it. Our students, our faculty who will participate in the events, take this with a great seriousness and a deep honor. So we're very pleased to be able to participate. To give you an idea of what we've been doing just briefly in some of these areas over the course of the last years, and this is really just a sampling of projects, and Nigel's been involved with many of them. We've had success co-designing with local, national, and international branches of the Red Cross. The outcomes have included games for disaster preparedness. This is a very interesting idea. How do you communicate? And how do you use games and game design to be able to bridge issues of language and the imaginary and the future, and use gaming as a way of thinking about the future? With the Open Society Institute and public health programs, our design and technology graduate students work in-house with local NGOs in Africa and Eastern Europe. Our students have developed information design strategies and innovative technological solutions so that partnering NGOs can expand their effectiveness in practice and better communicate publicly their cause and their work. We currently are working with the United Nations International Strategy for Disaster Reduction to design a communication strategy around the research and recommendations for the next global assessment report. It's a small sampling of many, many projects, and it spans across a range of design activities that this weekend's events really are formative about. And I wanted, this is a bit off this text for a moment, but to our colleagues at NASA. Last night, we had a wonderful lecture series by my colleague, Mark Wigley, who's the dean at Columbia University's Graduate School of Architecture, and most of the evening was spent looking at Earthrise, the image of the Earth as it rose, if you will, over the moon. A NASA-produced image that for most of the 21st century has galvanized our ideas about this planet and our responsibilities for it. In the sea of data before us, in the shifting world that we live in, where Google and Microsoft and Yahoo and NASA have completely reproduced a new datascape, what is the image of the future that will galvanize us in the 21st century to support the work of peace and global development? This is in many ways our challenge. And so we're just following you. But we have the ability and the challenge and the project to produce that image, not for the sake of the image, but for the sake of the planet. And so we're very pleased to be involved. I'm very pleased to thank you, Nigel, for your participation. I'm very pleased to thank Mavin Ratanaman, who I see back here, co-faculty member, Sven Travis, who is very tall, so I should be able to see him somewhere in the room, who is the Dean of our School of Art, Media, and Technology at Parsons, which has really been the hub and the support for this within the school, within Parsons, and a broad array of students and faculty, many too many to name tonight, but who I am assured and I have been promised will be named tomorrow. So that's your responsibility. So thank you all, and I'm looking to fantastic work this weekend.